Good morning, gang. Happy Friday morning, if you can say that. It's been an interesting week, quite violent, if you will. We had, of course, the stabbing case that has been all over the news. Can't miss this one. Talked about it the other day. We had a shooting in a high school in Dallas. 5 people shot there. And yesterday we had a shooting on Florida State University's campus. Okay. What's the common denominator? I don't know. Ask the media. You can't say it's guns because there were 2 shootings and 1 stabbing. You can't say it's politics because the stabbing and the Dallas high school shooting had nothing to do with political persuasion. The Florida State one, that's kind of up in the air yet. So can't even say, oh, gee, this is unhinged liberals or something. You can't say it's race because the stabber and the Dallas high school shooter were black, but the Florida State shooter was white. You can't say anything about the victims because, of course, the media will not give us details on that. We know they are some males and maybe a female, but we certainly won't tell you about the race. This is where we have a problem. There is no common denominator, or is there? Let's think about this for a second. Youngster. Gee, the stabbing suspect, I don't want to use his name anymore. Don't want to give him any more recognition that his family so desperately wants to portray him as a victim. Was completely unhinged. Over an argument in the stands at a track meet, you're going to stab somebody in the heart. Okay, about a seat. The shooter in the Dallas high school felt disrespected, and apparently this was gang violence. The shooter at Florida State was a cop's kid and used mom's gun, mom's the cop, to go out and shoot 5 people at Florida State. Mom's got some serious questions to answer, by the way. Of all people you think who would know how to secure a weapon, it would be a police officer. We'll see how that one turns out. But what is the common denominator? The age. We have a young people problem in this country. We have a problem with one-parent households. We have a problem with no morals, no respect being taught to our children. This is all fallout from the participation trophy crap. A lot of us, Gen Xers for sure, and generations behind too, some grew up in single-parent households. Most of us basically raised ourselves because mom and dad were both at work and didn't have time for us. And somehow we didn't have the weekly, daily killings of each other. Oh, sure, we had our fights when we were in high school. I remember being in quite a few. But we didn't kill each other. We didn't take guns to school to shoot each other. Though back then we had gun clubs in school, shooting teams in school. God knows how many pickup trucks, especially down here, even though I didn't go to school here, but God knows I talked to people who live here. Your gun rack in the back window of your truck had guns in it. Lots of those cars in the parking lot. But we didn't have problems. So what's the issue? Could it possibly be our education system? Huh? We don't spend any time anymore teaching kids about reading, writing, arithmetic. We have to spend time teaching them on DEI or transgenderism, skills that nobody needs in life. Mrs. P and I were talking about it yesterday. Those of you who are my age can remember shop class or home ec. Most of the classes were the guys took shop and the girls took home ec. Okay. We learned skills. Not all of them. I mean, we've always said, why isn't there ever a class to teach a kid how to balance a checkbook or the effect of compound interest or anything like that? We don't teach the kids that. That's a major failure. But we are a dying country if we keep going this way. I'm just being honest here. Okay. Is life as good now as it was 20 years ago, 30 years ago, 50 years ago, 70 years ago? Hell, you got to go back 100 freaking years before life was worse than it is now. You got to go back to the Depression, okay? Even during World War II, people worked together. People weren't out killing each other in the streets during World War II. Even during the drug-crazed, free-love 60s and 70s, people weren't out killing each other. In the 80s, the Bloods and Crips crap, the drugs, the cocaine, fueled businesses. There was gang violence, but it was pretty much limited to gang on gang. Now, you're afraid of walking into Walmart in some areas of the country because you don't know what's going to go on. We look at what is happening in our youth, with our youth. They have no hope. They're the ones that are telling you they have no hope. I have no chance of ever buying a house. I don't want to have kids because it's too expensive. Guys don't want to ask a girl out on a date because their life could be ruined. I mean, God knows guys aren't going to go to a nightclub and dance with a girl, and even though we're in hookup culture, all it takes is the girl to wake up in the morning with a little bit of regret and go, oh crap, what did I do? I'll just scream rape. And the guy's life is destroyed. Don't believe me? Ask the Duke lacrosse players from, 6-7 years ago. Right? This is what our issue is. It is not a matter of political persuasion for the youngsters. It's not a matter of race for them. It's a matter of no morals, no ethics, no respect for others or for themselves. I mean, you see this kid the Dallas high school shooter, I mean, he recorded a video about a minute long, posted it up on social media about why he did it, and then he went and turned himself in. He really doesn't have any remorse. How the hell are you, a high school kid, go out and kill a bunch of people and really don't care? His mom's dead, his grandmother's dead, where's dad? Okay, there's the first question. But when the kid basically has nothing to live for because There was no respect, no dignity, no nothing. This is what happens. And it's going to happen more because the kids have no hope. You look at the school system in our country. We have cities, Baltimore, Chicago, probably more, where 0% of the kids can read or do math at grade level. I don't remember what state it was, but I want to say it was Washington State, where no longer are they going to require the kids to be proficient in reading, writing, or arithmetic to graduate high school. Cool, here's your diploma. I understand you can't even sign your own name because you don't know how to spell it, but congratulations. You compare that with a lot of the Asian countries, Japan, Korea. I can't say for China because China doesn't tell us a whole lot, okay? But you look at the kids in, I'd say Western Asia, but that's not what it is, okay? The non-communist Asian countries. They go to school 6 days a week. And when they get out of school, they spend their evenings with their tutors to learn to make a better life for themselves, because it's a highly competitive culture. The cream will rise to the top and the rest will sink. That used to be what the United States was. We got to be the country we are because of our work ethic, because of our innovation, because of our drive to succeed, because of the push to have a better life than our parents had. And our parents supported that. Somewhere that stopped. And you can blame it all on the school system. Because the school systems for at least 20, if not 30 years now, have basically spent their time teaching kids how to be a victim. Don't worry, you don't need to learn how to add 2 plus 2. You don't need that for a job. Right, as I've told you numerous times, 5 times in a row going through the McDonald's drive-thru here. Got to be at least 16, so at least a sophomore in high school. 5 times in a row over the course of about a year, the cashier could not make correct change. Okay, this is it. This is why we, our community, scream and yell about homeschooling. It's not that there aren't good teachers out there. There are plenty of good teachers that could teach reading, writing, and arithmetic. It's that these school boards are forcing them to teach transgenderism and DEI and victimhood. And then you get situations like you have this week, where I'm a perpetual victim. Even though I just stabbed somebody in the heart, I'm going to portray myself as the victim. And the media agrees and pushes that narrative. Or you have a kid in Dallas whose life has been shit, and so he's sick of being the victim, so now he's going to be the aggressor. But he's got an excuse. Excuses are like assholes. Or you get the kid in Florida, who we don't know his motive yet, but it seems that there was a specific target in mind. They don't know how to handle their problems because it's always been done for them. Oh, don't worry about it, honey. You're the victim. You made a bad decision, we'll make sure we portray you as the victim. So this is the problem. They all have a victim mentality. This has got to stop. This is where the difference comes in. Like I said, you can't say this was conservative or liberal. You don't know what the two kids in Texas, what their motivations were. Obviously, it wasn't political. Okay, the kid in Florida, we don't know. He was a notorious pro-Palestine anti-Trumper. Whether or not it was political, we don't know. But these kids these days need to be taught respect for others, respect for themselves, dignity, the difference of right and wrong, because that's what's going to give them hope for their future. When you have no hope, you give up. What's the point of living? You never heard somebody commit suicide, for example, who goes, oh my God, my life is great right now. I think I'll end it. No. These people have lost all hope. And in a lot of cases, it's not their fault. It's the parents, it's the teachers, it's the media, it's society in general. Because society doesn't have respect for each other. Road rage? Okay. What do you mean you're going to get in front of me on the road? Who cares? So you're one car behind. Big deal. How many of you have been passed by somebody going 80 miles an hour only to get to the next stoplight and you pull up right behind them? BFD. Okay. But we see those every week where people are jumping out of their car with a baseball bat, smashing the person's window, pulling a gun on them. This is it. Really? Okay. The biggest takeaways that I get from this week are we're screwed as a country because we have a generation, if not two, that have no morals anymore because nobody ever taught them any. And the second one at takeaway, I'll be damned if I'm going anywhere unprotected.